Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. In this video, I am going to be making my husband a really cute Father's Day card. I have this really fun die set and it creates a little dancing card. Now, I have done this before on my channel during the holiday season and I'll link that video up in the right corner for you if you want a different version. But this is cute because you can either do a little rosette or you can do a little mug of beer, and I love the options here. So I went ahead and pre-cut all of my little pieces. I used mostly, I think, Concord and Ninth colors, and then I grabbed a couple different little sparkly pieces, and I'll go over why in a little bit. But I have everything ready to go. I'm going to set those to the side, and I'm going to grab this little collection I have for Mother's and Father's Day. They are little hot foil plates. I have been waiting for Father's Day to use this, and I'm going to go ahead and hot foil my sentiment. So I'll just start by putting my little hot foil plate down on my glimmer machine, top that with a piece of foil pretty side down, and then I'm going to put a piece of foiling cardstock right on top of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the shim and then one more plate, and then I'll be ready to run that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6. I feel like I have been trying to use my glimmer machine more and more lately, and the more I use it, the more I realize that it's actually pretty easy to use and I'm finding my own preferences with it. But one thing that I have learned that I really like to do is make sure that I go really slow through the machine. Now, I actually did have a little trouble with this first foil. I felt like I got a little too much over foiling, and you'll see that in a second. I'm not sure if it's because I ran it through once and then ran it through backwards again, but I felt like it was just such a fast press that I thought maybe running it back would give a little bit more. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of overfoiling there. So what I decided was I was going to just try again and rotate my little hot foil plate this way instead, just to see if I could run it through the machine a little bit differently and to see if I could possibly get some different results. So I'm going to do the same little sandwich here with my little spacer and then my plate, and then I am going to run that through once more very slowly through my Spellbinders Platinum 6. And the reason why you go really slow is just so you give each little part of the hot foil plate enough time to press into the paper and press that foil into the paper, and it just helps get more of an even press. So I went ahead and just ran it through once and not backwards, but I ended up getting a worse impression. So what I did is I grabbed the first one that I did. I have a mono sand eraser that I keep on hand, and I went ahead and just erased all those little pieces. It comes off really easy with a mono sand eraser. Now you want to make sure that you don't run the mono sand eraser over the actual foiled letters or the foil design that you want to keep, because it can take off that nice shiny foil look. Now I have a really pretty cover plate, and all of the materials I'm using will be linked in the description box below this video. But I have been saving this cover plate for Father's Day because I think it's so fun and masculine. It kind of reminds me of like a tweed vest or something like that. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but it reminds me of a nice vest, and I thought it was so masculine and so perfect for Father's Day. Isn't that really neat? I love it. Now I'll go ahead and grab my Score Buddy. I have a piece of 110-pound cardstock sized at 11 inches by 4 1/4, and then I'll place my score mark right in the middle at 5 1/2. And I will have a top folding A2 size card, which is sized at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I really love that top folding A2 size card, and I think that for some reason I find that top folding card just to be so classy looking. It's just my favorite. Now I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to the back of my panel. I am just going to have just a tad bit of dimension on there. It always looks so nice. It's something that's so simple but really makes that card just elevate a little bit more. Then I'm just going to open up my card there, and I'm going to put my little panel right on the front. I love how classy and masculine this looks. I really like this cover plate, and I find that I'm probably going to pull for it time and time again. It's just really nice and simple. Okay, now it's time to bring all those pieces back in, and before I do anything else, I'm kind of just getting an idea for spacing. I kind of want to know where everything is going to be placed before I get my glue out and start getting everything assembled. Now I did cut 2 mugs of beer, one in, I think it's called Pebble by Concord, 1/4 9th. I think that's right. That's on the right there. And then I did a white as well. I just wasn't sure, and when I'm not sure, I just go ahead and cut all of the pieces that I want in all the colors. That way I can just go ahead and piece and puzzle, piece everything together and see what I prefer. But I'm going to start here by putting these little cuffs on the little bottoms of the pant leg. I love that I have little embellishments like this and little details like this. It just really makes it look so nice. I also have this nice jewel picker tool from Pink Fresh Studio. I've really grown very fond of it. I really like that stickier side, of course, for picking up things, but I also like this pointier part for either nudging things into place or getting any excess glue off of the little seams, if you will. It seems to be really effective for that as well. And I like it because it's not really pointy. It has a little ball at the tip of it, and it's really, really nice. So highly recommend it. I'll link it down below as well. For the shoes, I had some kind of matte gold cardstock. I'm actually not sure where I got this. It was just a little scrap piece I had in my bin, and I went ahead and cut the shoes out of that. I just thought that looked really fun. Also, this is a reminder that this is a great card for you to use all of your scrap paper. So I grabbed just a bunch of scrap paper from my scrap bin because, as you can see, it doesn't take much paper to bring this whole look together. So I cut a variety of pieces for the inside liquid or beer, and one was kind of that matte gold that I used for the shoes. I also had a glitter, and then I also had more of a citron color, but that kind of started looking a little too green. I don't know, I didn't want it to look like it was Kool-Aid or something like that. But I ended up in the end going with that pebble cardstock for the color of my mug, and then I really, really liked that matte gold for the liquid inside. I thought that was really, really nice. It was the look that I was going for. And I also like that it kind of matches the shoes because while it's subtle, I feel like it just coordinates super well and makes it everything just look really uniform. So now I'm just going to kind of inlay these little pieces right in that little area and make sure I've glued everything just so. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this little teal piece, but of course I'll use that pressing block because that really just helps flatten everything out. Now this little teal piece, it's kind of like a mug wrap. It kind of reminds me of Starbucks, right? But it's just this little wrap, I guess, for the front. And I liked this kind of aqua teal color. I really like that color with navy and gold. I think it's just really classy looking, and I'm really loving the direction that this card is heading, especially with the colors I chose. Then we have a little bit of that nice foam on the top. I'm going to go ahead and just place that down just so, and you can kind of keep rotating it until you like the look of it. And then I grabbed some tiny foam squares to add a little bit of dimension to this additional foam that's going to go right in the center there. And I think that looks really fun. I really like how this looks, and I feel like all of the colors are really coordinating well together. So these little hands, they have a little slit in them, if that makes sense, and you're supposed to kind of wrap it around paper so it looks like they're being held. But as you watched me put that piece of, or that little mug together, there was quite a bit of layers of cardstock, so it didn't really quite fit all the way around. So you'll see how I remedy at that in a little bit, but I'm going to grab some thin foam strips really quickly. I love these thin foam strips. I actually use them quite a bit. They're really great to have in my craft space, and I'm just going to pop up that sentiment right at the bottom of my card. But before I do that, I'm not quite sure how far down I want to go, so I'm actually just going to set this right at the bottom of my card. I actually probably just should have kept the backing on that adhesive tape, but I just didn't press it down, set it lightly on there so I could pull it up in just a second. And now I'm just getting a little bit of idea for spacing of where I want everything to go so that I can have equal distance at the top of my card and bottom of my card. So after I got a little bit of visual measurements there, I decided to bring that sentiment down just a little bit and place that pretty closely to the bottom of the card. And then that's going to help me just get everything else really lined up visually, and it's going to look really, really nice in the end. Now is the part where we are going to kind of install the dancing portion. So these little legs are going to dance on the card, and I'm grabbing that tiny little foam square that I used earlier, and I'm just going to place it in this little open circle area, and that is going to allow me to have the legs move freely because I'm not going to be gluing the legs down. I'm just kind of tacking them in place with that little circle. So now I'm just going to add some additional foam squares to this little vest or jacket. But when I put it on there, I realized that the foam squares were too low and they were actually coming in contact with the top part of those pants. And that was not allowing my little legs to dance. So I went ahead, removed one of those little foam squares, and I put the skinnier of the two foam squares right at the top of that little jacket or vest area. And that way it doesn't come into contact at all with those pants, and now the little legs can move freely. So you just want to be aware of that. It's just going to take a little trial and error, but just make sure that your foam tape doesn't come into contact with any piece of the little legs. That way they can just wobble freely there. It's so cute. Now I'm going to add some additional foam tape to my mug. That way everything is bumped up equally, and a little bit of liquid glue as well, just so that it is connected to that little jacket or vest. I'm not sure what to call it. I kind of feel like it's a jacket. Probably is jacket. Okay, now I decided that I wanted to put the little hands near the bottom, and like I said, there's like a little cut there where you can put the little thumbs behind the paper, but I kind of liked how they looked on front. And like I said, my little layered beer mug there was too thick for me to wrap those little thumbs around them. So I actually really liked how that looked, and it worked out really, really well. So I'm just going to finish off this card by using these really nice gold discs. I like them because they're nice and shiny. It adds something fun to the end, but I also find them to be pretty masculine as well. So I think it really was a good choice for this nice Father's Day card. I really hope my husband loves it. I think he's really going to get a kick out of it. I think he's going to think it's super, super fun. But let me know if you have created one of these dancing cards before, and if you're inspired to create one for Father's Day. I hope you enjoyed this. This is so super cute. I love how those legs just wobble and dance back and forth. Such a fun idea for a card, and I think it's super, super sweet. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.